Looks like you could use a hand.
Where's the action?
How is he up here? Okay. What's going on? Buddy, you're gonna die!
I am not going to talk about Stormgate. Its early access demo has shown enough. What I am going to talk about is the fact that I wrote a fan-made first mission for Stormgate back in 2021, and in this video I'm just going to go through the 5 pages I wrote. I'll have a link down in the description if you want to just read it yourself, and here's my email if you want to talk to me. Okay, first of all, the title. Why is it called Drowning Valley? Because the entire valley is going to be drowning with Zerg, or whatever Zerg analogy you want. I wasn't sure on what kind of unit Stormgate would have on launch, so I just defaulted to StarCraft 2 concept that can be tinkered around with in later drafts. So, first page. The big one here is just the camera movement. The thing I'd want out of an RTS is the sense of scale. You aren't just playing as a single little squad here, you're playing as a cohering faction, complete with superiors and underlings in whatever hierarchical structure you want. Now, this dialogue just came to me on the fly, and it's basically the thorium molten salt reactor pitch. But an underlying theme here is on sort of the conflict of safety and progress, which actually fit into Stormgate pretty well. Of course, then there's a big explosion somewhere out there. Second page. So, shit's hitting the fan here. Magma Team, who your captain has been disregarding as a lesser position not suited for him, is the only one that hasn't been hit. The general calls in, demanding a status report, only for the general to get eaten by Zerg. Then the camera pans up to the first mining outpost that you saw, Echo Base, which gets overrun by Zerg extremely quickly. So the captain orders what is necessary. They need to establish an army and some defenses, even at the expense of your SCVs further up the valley. I think this creates a tiny little objective in the back of your mind basically saying, oh hey, maybe I should save those guys. From here, you're given back control and given the objective of making a lot of Marines. There are a couple big ideas here I wanted you as a player to go through. First of all, in this mission, you really don't control a lot of your resource production, but the amount of resources that you have coming in from your allies is massive. At the same time though, the more you dawdle with building up a defense, the more allies you lose, reducing your resource income, so you might want to go out there and do something. But in order to do something, you need to have a big army. The second is that I want you to experience trying to build up a big army in desperation. I think a lot of the appeal of the RTS genre is being able to manage and control a really big army, and throw it at your opponent's really big army. And building a big army takes a lot of time and resources, both of which you're implicitly running out of. Third, I put in an order basically recommending that we build more barracks, and build more Marines from those more barracks. I feel like a lot of players basically just sit on their resources, and really just queue up 5 Marines and call it a day. In order to complete these missions, you're going to have to build a lot of units and throw them into the meat grinder in order to win the day. Anyway, third page and the Zerg have advanced, destroying the 4th base, Delta. Like I said, you're going to be losing your income the more bases are lost, basically nudging the player along to maybe up their game. Whether or not they actually do is up to them. The Zerg then make it to the 3rd base, Charlie. Here the Charlie Marines have actually set up charges on a rock formation and set it off, creating a pile of debris that the Zerglings have to bite their way through, which is going to take time. But then Ultralisks appear, which deal massive damage to the debris. But Liberators fly into Charlie, and are able to use their cannons to counter the Ultralisks. But then the Zerg deploy Scourge to counter the Liberators. This series of events is basically introducing the idea of counters to the player. You try and counter your opponent, who counters your counter, but their counter might actually be susceptible to the strategy that you were always using. It's like rock, paper, scissors, but you get to use both hands. Since the Liberators were destroyed, you don't get any reinforcements, but the Major authorizes you the Liberator blueprint, to produce Liberators from the starports in Bravo Base. Now, it doesn't intrinsically have to be the Liberator as a unit, they could just as easily be Frostworms, Griffins, and Chimera. I was trying to figure out an air unit that had a ground attack that could deal with big T3 units, and Liberators were the best example I could find. So, page 4. Because the starports are on Bravo Base, you might actually want to move your army up to Bravo Base to defend it. Again, I put this as a bonus objective that you can or can't do, just to give some soft guidance to the player. After this, the Zerg are here, and it's your job to hold them back. During this, you get a transmission from the Major. They have a plan to orbital drop right into the heart of the Zerg, and just need you to hold on for several minutes. So you do just that. Final page. After you hold off the Zerg, your next objective is to advance up the valley and recapture all the bases that were lost. With the bases recaptured, the Major contacts the captain in a private channel. The orbital drop revealed not how bad things are, but rather how much worse things can get, and it will all be explained in the briefing that I never got around to. Mission accomplished. Now, obviously this is just a skeleton of a mission, with little flesh or tissue attached, but it's a draft, and all things start as drafts. If you enjoyed this and found this style or content valuable in any way, please leave a comment down below saying so.